In this video, I'm going to teach you how to uncover some of the subconscious bullshit that may be keeping you trapped in a life you no longer love, rather than living a life you never want to escape from. So there's two parts to this thing, and the first thing I want you to do is to think about the thing you want in the future, the life you want for yourself. So maybe it's to start that startup. Maybe it's to become, I don't know, a Hollywood screenwriter. Maybe it's to become a seven-figure founder of a startup unicorn, whatever it is. Just have a think about that thing. And as you do that, I want you to close your eyes if it helps. And I want you to really, really live into that future of you as the Hollywood screenwriter, as you as that seven-figure founder. And I want you to see what you see, hear what you hear, and more importantly, or as importantly, feel what you feel as you think about being that seven-figure founder, that multimillionaire, that Hollywood screenwriter, that person who lives in Marbella, etc., etc. So really get into that. See what you see when you're living into that. Hear what you hear when you're living into that. And feel what you feel in your body. Scan your body and notice what you feel. Now, what you may notice is a weird kind of icky feeling, and it might be a small little feeling inside of you, or it might be a little nagging little feeling in the back of your brain. It might even be a little voice in the back of your brain. That thing that you can feel, that thing that seems to be resistance, that seems to not be congruent with that future that you want, is the thing that could be holding you back. That is the thing that could be the subconscious bullshit that is blocking you. And that's how your unconscious mind works. It's very, very subtle, but it's always there. It's that nagging little feeling, that pit of stomach feeling, that little tiny voice. That is the thing that can stop you. Now the thing is, it's small, but it doesn't mean that it's not massive. You see, your conscious brain is very much on the surface of your brain physically, but your unconscious brain is down in the stem of the brain, it's down in the limbic system, it's in the middle of the brain. The information has got further to travel for you to be consciously aware of it. And that's why it's smaller, that's why it's more faint, that's why it's not as loud, that's why that feeling is smaller than the feeling you consciously feel. So the question is, if you can feel that thing, that bit of resistance inside of you that doesn't quite feel like you can get it, that is why affirmations and manifestation, the way people teach it, does not work. Because you can imagine yourself as this perfect human being living this perfect life that you never want to escape from, but there's a resistance. There's something inside of you that doesn't feel right, that doesn't want to go there. So the question is, what can we do about it? How can we release that thing? Now, if it's very deeply embedded, you need to work with someone like me. So that's a DM. But it might not be very deeply embedded, and you might be able to pull it up. So think about that thing, that resistance, as you close your eyes and you project yourself into that future. Listen into that thing, scan your body and feel where you feel it. And I want you to start writing down what that stuff could be. Maybe the thing that you're feeling is that I'm not rich enough to have that. I'm not poor enough, I'm not old enough, I'm not young enough, I'm not good looking enough, I'm not ugly enough, I'm not educated enough, I'm too educated, etc., etc. Now, what I want you to know is this: we mistake these things that we've just brought up as beliefs, as limiting beliefs. And people tell us they're limiting beliefs, but they're not limiting beliefs. They are circumstances. They are fact, but it doesn't mean that they are the thing that should be blocking you. Yeah, I'm not rich enough. That's a fact, but why is it blocking you? I'm not good looking enough. Hey, maybe that's a fact, but why is it blocking you? I'm not young enough. Maybe that's a fact, but why is it blocking you? These circumstances become a problem when they become stories that we tell ourselves. Our stories are the things that keep us stuck. And these circumstances become a story, become a limiting belief when this little brain of ours, well, this big brain of ours, this unconscious mind, adds a little word after the statement, after the truth, after the circumstance. And that little word is this: therefore. So for example, I'm not rich enough. That's a circumstance. Therefore, ... now it becomes a limiting belief. Now it becomes a really big problem, because that becomes a story that dictates your future, and it dictates your present and how you're going to move from your present into your future. Yeah? So maybe the story is this: I'm a poor kid from a council estate. Well, that's a fact, right? It's a circumstance. Therefore, I can never be wealthy and successful. Or I'm a poor kid from a council estate, therefore I can never be rich and famous. That could be the thing, that nagging feeling that's stopping you from breaking through the ceiling into the next level that you wish to move into. Yeah? I'm not this thing, or I am this thing, therefore ... That becomes the limiting belief. So then what you want to do is challenge it. So for example, if it is, I'm a poor kid from a council estate, therefore I can never be rich and famous, ask yourself, is that true? Now you've made that unconscious thing conscious, challenge it. Well, do you know anybody who's from a council estate, who was poor, who became rich and famous, who became wealthy and successful? The answer to that is most likely to be fuck yes, there's a shit ton of them. Yeah, the Gallagher brothers, for example, probably every rapper that ever existed, lots of artists that have ever existed. So when you start challenging that thing, you start breaking down that belief, it stops having control over you. You start breaking up the concrete that is keeping you stuck in the life that you no longer love. So that's what you want to be doing, and have a think about it. Again, if it's deeply rooted, you're going to have to work with someone like me to really pull it up. But if it's surface level stuff, you might be able to do it yourself. Step one, project yourself into the future, the place you want to be, whatever that is. An exemplary husband and father, a multimillionaire, whatever it is, a Hollywood screenwriter. Really live into that, see what you see, hear what you hear, and feel what you feel when you're there. And then tune in and notice where the resistance is. Notice where it is in your body. Really tune into that, and then start writing down what comes up. I'm not wealthy enough, I'm not rich enough, I'm not young enough, I'm not old enough, I'm not educated enough, I'm too educated, all of this kind of bullshit. And then ask yourself, what's the therefore, that if this then that thing that comes up? That's the belief, that's the limiting belief, or most likely to be the limiting belief. If it's more of a surface level thing, challenge it. Smash the legs off that belief one by one. Do you know anybody who is in that situation with that circumstance, who has achieved that thing that belief is telling you? Remember this, a belief is nothing more than a thought you've stopped thinking about. Therefore it becomes a problem, because it becomes setting a piece of concrete and it's seemingly something you can't move, but you can. Again, if it's deeply rooted, if that doesn't work for you, DM me and we can work together.